Hey guys, how you going? My name is Dom, and today we're going to take a look at code blocks inside JavaScript. So essentially, code blocks are one line of code or multiple lines of code that are surrounded by an opening and a closing curly brace. So you may have seen them with if statements or for loops or while loops or functions, things like that. But you can actually use them without the extra language feature or construct. So let's see real quick an if statement. So we can say if 1 is less than 2, then do this. So this is a code block or a compound statement. I can actually remove this if, and that's still perfectly fine. So you're not restricted to the actual if or the for or the function, things like that, when using code blocks inside JavaScript. I can now console.log a, for example. I might just define a, sorry. So const a is equal to 5, okay, something like that. I can now save this and refresh, and we get 5 right there. So we can see it works perfectly fine. So with things like const and let, they are scoped to the block, which means outside this block, a is now undefined. So that's the standard rules for the const and let keywords, which means I can say const a is equal to 10 down here, and then console.log a once again, and we'll get 5 and 10. I can save this and refresh, and we get 5 and 10. Okay. Also, let's just say down up here we can say const a is equal to 20, and then remove this one. So outside this scope, we have a as a constant. I can save this and refresh, and we still get 5. That's because this a gets used over this a. If I was to remove this one, okay, this a is now 20. I can save this and refresh, and we get 20. Perfect. So the reason why you might want to use this style of coding is if you want to separate your code into separate sections where you don't think a function is necessary. So in most cases, you want to separate this into a separate function, but sometimes you want to just keep it in the same sort of area. So for example, you may want to create a few HTML elements inside JavaScript. So let's make an array called elements, okay, up here, and then inside here, let's make a new constant called elements equal to document.createElement, and we can make a div. We can then say elements.id is equal to some sort of ID, and the class name equal to a class. So something like that, right? I can then say elements.push and add the element. So that is a nice concise piece of code, right? I can now copy this and paste it down here, and we're inside the same outer block. So in this case, the outer block could be seen as this script tag, okay, but I'm using this constant twice. So it might be useful to, keep these two things in the same whole area, but have two separate statements so you can actually use this constant once again. So I can say now, let's just say ID1 and class1, okay, and then we can say console.log elements. I can save this and refresh, and we get this right here. So we have those two separate elements, using the same constant. So it's more for readability, but even something like this, I don't think I'd use the code blocks for, but you can see how you can make use of this sort of thing in certain scenarios. And that is code blocks inside JavaScript. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.